So when you told me that I was gonna be able to interview a retired FBI agent in regards to the UFO phenomenon, the paranormal, I would have thought this would be some kind of a joke, but it's real life, and I'm so happy that we're here in Arizona, Tucson, and I'm meeting with you, John, to discuss what's going on right now in the world. Appreciate you joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon today.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here on Third Phase of Moon. You guys are awesome. I love the work you do, and this is so important, especially now.
Exactly. What's happening right now seems like we're not in Kansas anymore, right? The whole narrative has come full forward in the major news, and now the Congress has just dropped the big nothing burgers. Everybody's saying, this is kind of the broken record. Are people getting fed up with the news coming out in regards to what the major media is spreading to us?
Yeah, people are really tired, and so are experts in the field, and so are casual observers. Everybody's pretty fed up with this whole, what we were calling countdown to disclosure, because we all kind of knew the government would let us down with this report that came out. And now that it's happened, and now that the report was really, and I'll tell you something, one of the reasons that people are upset with this is because they don't understand that this report, this nothing burger that finally came out, it's really just a placeholder. It's not a conclusion of anything. It's just like, let's put a pin in this, and then come back to it later. And they're gonna come back to this later. And they're gonna continue this operation, which this whole thing was just part of an operation to ratchet up fear, to ratchet up defense budgets, to help the military-industrial complex to feed off people's fear and grow larger and larger. And that's what this is a part of. And that is going to continue very shortly.
So it seems like it kind of came out of nowhere. Last year, I didn't even see it, but now we're seeing it over and over again in the field of ufology. There's a fracture going on, a line in the sand. Why are these people that have been embedded in this field so long have this kind of like infighting right now? They're like eating each other's tails. What's this all about? Shouldn't we be all together on this movement moving forward? What's the fractures all about here?
The fracture is all about, and anyone who's worked in intelligence field for the government recognizes it very clearly. This is nothing more than large portions of the community getting paid, being given resources by dark forces that want to take over ufology and control it and increase the fear in this area. And we have large portions of the community that are basically being sponsored and paid by these elements that are working so hard for this operation. In the past, we've seen this with what we call CIA workshops that just come out into this community, and they pay certain people, and they compromise a lot of individuals in order to get them working for them and feeding them back intelligence in this area. This area is very important to certain people. It's very important, and they need to keep tabs on it. And that's what we're looking at right now.
So was this like a game plan all along, kind of in the works for decades now? Because some of these talking heads have come into the UFO world out of nowhere, and then you have these others that have been around for decades, and now they're all collabing together in one unit, a unison of the same narrative. So what's this all about?
It shows you intelligent design. It shows you that there is some force behind this, bringing these individuals together and giving them the same script to read from. And that's what's going on. They're all working towards this element. But there's a lot of individuals in ufology that they're just excited. They're easily entertained, and they're excited, and they're thinking, well, this is it. This is great. This is real disclosure. And that enthusiasm makes them not really examine any further, look beneath the surface. And they don't do that. They won't do that because they're just so happy to have somebody, to have Fox News and CNN pay attention to them.
So what you're saying is some of these people that have been involved, they're making it their whole lifetime goal, are easily swayed by the spotlight, and they'll just go along with it. They've been struggling so long to have anybody listen to them, and now all of a sudden the major news is talking about it, so everybody's getting up and they're excited about that there's a discussion. But the problem is the discussion is flawed. And again, like you're saying, they're not examining the true nature of the message. Is this, again, you're saying it's by design, but is there people within this field that are, controlled by a higher up, maybe an alphabet agency or some kind of black ops operati that have these players involved?
Absolutely. There's always, whenever you see trickery going on, whenever you see obfuscation going on, you can be sure that there's some CIA elements involved there. It always is. That's like a universal rule. So you're going to have CIA involved in this. You're going to have other intelligence agencies possibly as well, also involved in this. But it's basically like an intelligence complex, like the military-industrial complex. It's an intelligence complex that is put to work towards getting these individuals, compromising them, and sometimes that's through money, but a lot of times it's just through adulation, attention, prestige, and that's what's going on now. You've got a lot of these individuals who are perhaps not taking money directly, although a lot of them are. You have to go look at the T to the Stars Academy and what they did while they were existing, and how much resources they spread around. They had unlimited resources. How does that happen? How does that happen? And they compromised a lot of individuals in ufology, a lot of them. And those individuals are still being used today. And they don't have the benefit of being starry-eyed, and being given adulation. They actually were paid. And a lot of times openly so. They were openly paid. And so you got a lot of that going on. You got all those individuals. That's why this operation is so strong. It's so strong because it has guilty individuals with it, but it also has innocent individuals who don't know any better. And that's where we are today.
So there are enthusiasts out there, and then there's people that are easily persuaded, and they're just kind of going along with what's going on in the news, and they really have no play in the game whatsoever. They're just kind of going along with it. But what's going on right now with the major media and this narrative and these talking heads, from what I've heard, speaking to FBI agents that are active right now, is that the media has no obligation to tell the truth to anybody. And they don't even need to verify some of the statements that are coming from these talking heads. In 1984, there was a balance in the media, but they stopped that during the Reagan era and has never brought it back. But my point is that if the government is actually paying these individuals to tell a narrative in the media, this is borderline illegal. If it's from a private corporation and they're paying these talking heads, that's fine. But if the government's trying to rule the narrative through paying individuals, now there's something not legal about this operation.
Absolutely. But the way that sort of thing usually happens is through things like Operation Mockingbird, which is public, it's declassified, anybody can go look at it. The CIA has a CIA sitting room on the internet where you can actually go and look at declassified documents. And then you could see Operation Mockingbird. The CIA has shops that go out and compromise mainstream media people. And it's done with cash and gifts and prizes. And they usually don't do it, they do it through usually contractors, what we call contractors. CIA does a lot of their work through contractors, which means outside individuals who do work with them, but are kind of disconnected also. So that's how they get a lot of their illegal work done. And so you've probably got a lot of that going on, where it's not really directly the government paying these journalists to report this same script, this script that has been given to them very carefully. A lot of times it's through these intelligence shops that work, that compromise these people, compromise these individuals, and get them to do whatever they want. And that happens every day, every single day.
So you got these actors that have been involved. They're either paid, they're gifted, or given access, and this is why they're going along with it. Are there any good guys out there? Like, we receive videos on a daily basis. We have some of the best UFO footage that comes in. The major media doesn't want to touch it, and they're continuing to show the worst bottom of the barrel quality videos. And they're dumbing down the public, and this is supposed to be the biggest story ever, and this is the worst evidence they're bringing forward. Yeah. So to me, is there anybody out there that they could deal with, the major media, or they're just, they're not going to have it? It just seems they don't want to deal with the real evidence, and they don't want to deal with, real people like yourself. Yeah. Have you been approached recently to be on the major media? You've been in this game for a long time.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. I was actually approached to the Stars Academy when they were for possibly becoming a researcher for them. This was a while back, and I advised them that, and they advised me, would I be able to read a script? That's all they wanted to know. And I told them, no, that's not what I do. That's not what I do under any cases. And they went away. They went away real fast. And they instead hired, a bunch of people a few people that you guys know who they are. I don't even want to repeat who they are, but yeah, I have been approached in that sense. And we are now, and what I wanted to tell you was that we are now in the final phases of an authoritarian empire where the media is part of that empire. And so we now can no longer trust anyone in corporate media, all right? All we can trust are basically citizen reporters on the ground, around the world, around the country. Citizen reporters, unincorporated citizen reporters, like the people who send Third Phase of Moon their UFO videos. They're genuine, authentic UFO videos. Those things have more reality and authenticity to them than all the nonsense that Fox and CNN puts on from the 1950s. That's nonsense. And so that's where we are. We can only trust regular citizen reporters, people they're the only ones who can have any sense of trustworthiness at this point.
And I want to clarify for the record, we're not doing any scripting here. We just met in person for the first time. Have we ever approached you ever to script out anything, John?
No, you have never approached me to script out anything at all. You always go to the information. You never try to make the information come to you, ever. And that's why you guys are so loved and why you're so popular. Absolutely. So
we've heard actually from sources behind the scenes that have had some of these talking heads on their shows that there is some kind of prep before the live interview, that they're told to the producers that they can't ask certain questions, stay away from these subject matters, and then we'll proceed into the interview. But there's this whole prepping kind of thing that goes on for a couple hours. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Aren't we in America where we're supposed to just ask questions and get the answers from the individual besides the script? Anybody that has these people on their shows, they should be ashamed of themselves for allowing themselves to be manipulated in the way that some of these hosts are, having these guests on and being 100% manipulated in the narrative.
Oh, absolutely. But most of these figures, most of these people, especially in ufology, have given up their integrity a long time ago. And they just say, give me the script, and they'll read it for whoever asks them. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. And we need to avoid those kinds of people like the plague. Absolutely.
Recently, we've invited some of these talking heads on Third Phase of Moon to discuss with Dr. Greer in regards to some of his claims against these people that are constantly in the major news. Every single one of them denied the invitation, and some of them were quite hostile, and which is strange because aren't we all grown-ups? We could have a discussion no matter what the question is. What are they afraid of? They refuse to even come on Third Phase of Moon. Sometimes by proxy, we're able to get our questions in, but we have to do it through another platform versus our own channel. They're afraid of our questions, it seems.
Absolutely, they will be afraid of you. And also, they're going to have a very special kind of arrogance because they know that they are part of the giant corporate media complex that has all the power, well, they believe have all the power in the world. And they know they're part of it. So they have absolute contempt for anybody who is on the ground, authentic, true, real news and information, because they consider you guys part of the outside, the fringe of their society. And they consider themselves to be the actual corporate structure of this disinformation society that we live in right now. That's where the arrogance comes from.
So it's like a David and Goliath story that we're dealing with here. Since we've been having a different angle on the story over the past 6 months, if we weren't here, the rest of the world or the United States would have been hoodwinked. Everybody would have went along with this, hook, line, and sinker. But thank goodness that there is a different side to the story. Dr. Greer's mentioned it, but we've been advocates for trying to get to the bottom of this technology, and we believe they're obviously private corporations. They're blaming it on the extraterrestrial phenomenon. There's two different things I think we discussed a little earlier today. If they were threatening, they would have hit us a long time ago. But as far as this message that you're bringing forth, you have this book that you're coming out with. Tell me a little bit about this book of yours and what people can find in this book that you just put out recently.
Oh, the Extra Dimensionals? The Extra Dimensionals is a book that everyone should get and read before it's too late. Because right on the back cover in the statement, I say, guys, when the giant black ships are out there hovering over our cities, silent, not saying anything, not doing anything, driving everybody crazy, it's going to be too late for us to understand what they really are. And that's why I wrote The Extra Dimensions, because it's an explanation of what alien visitors really are. Why they're not with the Tic Tacs. Why? Because they are not physical. And I got this from FBI documents originally. And I show those FBI documents in my book, The Extra Dimensionals. Documents that tell us that alien visitors are not physical, that they are not from our outer space. They are from other levels of reality, other dimensions. That's why they're extra dimensional, you know? And so these are the things that people need to learn. And what do they want from us? What do they want from us? That's what I explain in The Extra Dimensionals. Why are they always a presence here on Earth? Why are they always coming in contact with human beings, both in a good way and in a bad way as well? And who are those two groups of alien visitors? The ones that are wishing us well and the ones that are wishing us ill. You know, who are they? What makes the difference between them? And what is it about us that they need so badly? These are the things people need to understand. They need to learn and understand so that they can't be hoodwinked again. That's what I believe in.
We don't want to get hoodwinked anymore. The information, it needs to flow like a faucet of water, and the information needs to be liquid. And I've been told by journalists that a story could be like liquid. It just flows like water. And right now they're trying to adjust the pressure of the water, the information as it comes out. But being with you today, listening to your side of the story and answering my questions. It was a pleasure meeting you in person, John. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon, man. It's been a pleasure. And you know, again, we're here. We've got we even have Jim Goodall and John D'Souza. It's the first time they've met in person. And you know, get over here, Doc. We got Doc Skinner, who's having Disclosure Con coming up in October in Arizona. But you know, having everybody together in one place and you know, getting the information out. That's what it's all about right here at Third Phase Moon. Stay tuned for the next episode. And if you've captured anything amazing in the skies, you contact us. My email is in the description below. We'll see you next time. Appreciate it, Jim.
Third Phase of Moon.